Okay everyone, hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is it's not so much a project, but it's much rather a runabout vehicle that I use so I don't have to bring my good car out in the rough roads around where I live, because the roads are terrible. They're all stones and cow manure. So we are at a car park local to me, Donahidi car park. We're going to do a full walk around of this runabout vehicle that I have built, put together in the last 8 weeks. As you can see it here in the background, it's very eye-catchy. It's much like my past vehicle, my runabout, which was a Jordan Rep, so it's a yellow Civic. I scrapped it after driving it for 13 years. So I only thought that vehicle stood out, so this one stands out more now. So I'm going to do a full walk around and show you everything that I've been working on, such as these graphics. The inside of the van, there's a sound system in this van. It's actually it turned out better than I thought it was going to be. So I'll do a full walk around now and see how it goes. Okay, so we're going to do a walk around the outside. So this is the passenger side obviously. So this van, as you will see in the pictures at the end of the video, this van came and it was quite rough. It still is quite rough at the bottom of the sills there, but I have new sills coming from Poland and I'll put them on in a month's time. As I say, this van is only a runabout, but it's bright yellow, and yellow's not my favourite colour, I can promise you. It's just something that popped up when my yellow Civic went off the road. So as I say, I was driving the yellow Civic for 13 years. I only thought it was eye-catching. This is much more standing out, obviously, because of the graphics and stuff. So, as you can see, this is the posters for my YouTube channel. The glove work, or my research work, is not on it, as I'm keeping it hidden. Well, as I say, the glove work's not actually, the practical side's not really my research, as I'm building the glove as a hobby alongside my research. So it much blends into this hand mimicking system, the joint system. So as you can see, that all the projects is on the van to show off my channel, just try and up the viewers a wee bit. Sadly that is not happening, but I couldn't care, because as long as I get my projects shown off. So here is the driver's side. As you can see, I have the glove on the van, which I probably shouldn't have put it on, but I put it on anyway. Take it off in the months when everything's okay. I'm still in the middle of designing that glove. I'm doing it in my spare time after my research at night times and any free time I get. So as you can see, the van looks good for a wee banger, you know. This van came and it was pure white, it was pale yellow. I have done a three-stage mop on the whole van itself. I've removed all this van was covered in filings. I used a clay bar to remove all the filings. I have these hinges was all powder, you know, aluminium corrosion, white dust. So I blasted them and powder coated them. A nice candy blue with sparkle through them. The match sort of blends in with my projects, as you can see here. So the graphics is all designed by myself and put on by myself. They're printed by a company in England. The reason I went to England is because I find it very hard to get anybody to work over in this country for a small person such as myself. So they'd rather much do work for industry. So I went to England and obviously I didn't go. I got them posted from England. I designed them all in Photoshop and they turned out quite well. So I've blended all my projects together, as you can see here. This aperture is blended into the car and the manifold's blended into the aperture. Just to make it a wee bit better looking and just having bold pictures there. So we're going to move on now to the roof rack. So I bought this roof rack for my kayaks. So as most of my friends know that I do kayaking as a hobby. Good crack. So takes my mind away from all this stuff. So that's it. The wheels was all sandblasted and they were nice fancy wheel trims bought off eBay, and they looked actually quite well, because I was going to buy alloys for this van, but then I wised up. So and I'm going to go, as I came off a tow bar. So as I mentioned there, the sills is going to be replaced in a month's time. Underneath these vans are actually quite well, no rot apart from just the sills for some strange reason. So we're going to just duke up at the top of it here now. So this is the top, you can see the roof rack. So it holds up to maybe 3 or 4 kayaks. It is all made out of 1.5" box iron and galvanised to keep the rust or any contamination running down the actual vinyl itself for the canvas. So we're now going to move on. We'll go in the back now. So as I say, this is not a project. This is something I've been working on, and it's been taking my time away from all my projects. But I have been working on the glove, and that's about it at the minute. After this van, there will be the aperture. I keep saying I'm going to put this aperture up. I'm going to put the aperture up in 2 to 3 weeks' time. So it's one of my most advanced projects, and it's just so complex in the mechanical movement, you know, and the angles. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give a wee walkabout inside. So this van came to me full of muck and nails all stuck together, and so I just basically stripped the whole van out, and every single thing that you see in here except the dash, the rubber mat at the front, the liner, these boards, or these ply line boards, it's all replaced because they were just wee small windows, but I wanted them to cover the full door, you know. And so what I have done is I have covered them in 6mm ply. I have steam rolled them, so I put steam into the timber to get the bent into that nice shape. So you can see at this door here, there's a bulge here, so it's sort of like a semicircle bulge, so there's no cracks. It was steam rolled, so steam is applied to it and shaped into the door. What else do we have here? So it is covered with a red leatherite material. I still haven't got round to cleaning this. It's all white compound from mopping the van. So on the inside again, 6mm ply, nice and tight with stainless screws. You can see here I've went nice and neat around the wheel arch. There's not even a mil gap. You can see they're still covered in white dust. I still need to clean this. We have the carpet and everything. So the floor has a, what is it, 9mm ply line, but it's all packed below. So the reason I want it 9mm is because I didn't want it too high here at the back. 12mm, I know it's only a 3mm difference, but it's a brave height. 9mm is big enough. So this subwoofer box I've built, so this van has a sound system. I'm not going to jump onto that yet, I'm just going to keep talking about this. So this carpet and arches is all, so we'll start at the side. So this side, obviously the side that has no filler cap. I have kept a bit of 6mm timber nice and tight to the wheel arch. You will see it, the photos there in the video. Off the entire making of that, or assembling of the wheel arch. This wheel arch is much more complex because there's a filler cap for your diesel to go into the van and the tank. So it's much more unique shape. I could have made this a big massive square box, but I like to do things more proper and neater, and just putting a square box over it. And this 6mm ply is tight to the wheel arch, so there's no gap between it. You can hear how solid it is. In here you have a nice round bend, and it's all packed and below to get this nice unique shape. You can see it's not round. So as I've mentioned, the whole van is covered with leather and inside. The carpet was bought out of my local carpet. So what do you call it, shop at Strabane? Reynolds Carpets, I think. So moving on here to the sound system now. So the van has a sound system. I built the box and covered it also in the same material, red leather. Then I have added nice aluminium silver strips that are painted with like silver paint around the side, edge stripping. So all leather material stuck with PVA glue. Right, what else do we have to talk about? I don't want to ramble on too much. So it has 6x9 Pioneer speakers, or sorry, are they Pioneer? Well, they're JVC at the back and they're Pioneer at the front. And they're 6-inch speakers, or whatever size they are. So we're now going to move on to the front. So as you can see, this whole rubber mat was removed. It's a wee bit worn at the front, but it'll do. I'll have to get mats for this thing. And up here we have a nice, this was all washed, steam washed. We have my posters for YouTube. And then these seats is out of a Del Sol. These seats was actually in my Jordan Rep Civic. And I have made the brackets for them. We're going to move around now and open the driver's door and the passenger door. They show this. So, right there. So again, I'm just going to close this up. So this edge stripping was all cut nice and neat to go around the carpet. To keep the carpet from fraying or whatever you call it. So it's bent nice and neat and around the timber and screwed directly down the timber and through the floor. So the last thing I have to do to this van is prep the underneath. nice fancy number plates, please visit my YouTube channel and the wee subscribe button. Please do if you haven't. So we're going to now move around to, we talked about the hinges, we talked about the roof rack. Around this side we're replacing the sills. So the wheels are quite nice wheel trims. So this is the front of the van. Again, please visit my YouTube channel. So that's it. Now we're going to go on to the inside. So this is the glove, as I mentioned. So underneath this, my hand is modelled. So I've modelled my hand on the simulation software. So exact same size as my hand, and then I've designed the glove around it. Obviously I'm not releasing the glove yet, for reasons. So this here now is the driver's side. So this is the brackets that I have made up here for onto the Del Sol seats. You will see at the end of the video a demonstration of the actual making, the manufacturing process of making these brackets. This seat over here was completely different. That used to be a two-seater, so the brackets is completely different now. You will see at the end of the video if you want to look at the manufacturing process or off all the wee parts and stuff. So again, looking on the back here now, you can see the nice red leatherite material. It's nice and quiet in this van when you're driving it, because obviously it's not quiet if you have the sound system on. I don't want to put any music on because I don't know what's the story about playing music on YouTube. So that's it. That's everything. I think I haven't missed anything. And that's my nice Honda face mask. I hate wearing them. So the strap needs a wee bit of grease in it. So that's it. We're just going to do a full walk around now, back a wee bit so you can see the van. So if you see the van driving about, give me a wee beep. Right, driver's side, rear, and passenger side. Big aperture is going to be really interesting, unique, world class, I can promise. And much more attractive than any project I've done yet, and it works unbelievable, it's amazing. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this quick update on my YouTube channel. I'm going to now finish the video. So please, if you want to see the, I haven't ran into detail and everything, but I'm putting up the design of these graphics, and I have put up these stupid things like powder coating them hinges, building the roof rack, covering the ply lining inside with the 6mm ply. And I think that's it. Putting the floor and the carpet, I've done all that. So at the end of the video, if you want to watch, please do. Thank you. Okay, so the first thing to do here was to clean the whole van out, power wash it out, using detergent to remove all the muck and nails was on the floor. I think this van was previously used for by painters. So it was a lot of work. So it was a lot of filings, thousands of metal filings all over this van. It was removed using a clay bar, as seen. And also an iron fallout remover. You can see the purple stuff in the van there. So the whole van had to be done. So at this point here, the hinges was corroded and very badly. A lot of powdery corrosion going on. So that was removed with a sandblaster using glass beads. And then it was powder coated. Primer was applied first, as seen here, and then a candy blue. Also with flake, so a light blue flake in it. The 4 hinges. Also, the back lights had to be resealed because the water was getting in. They were half open and half closed. Before, this wee 2-inch polishers used to cut the paint. After the actual removing of the filling, because the poster, when the posters is on the van, the 4-inch real action mop and the actual 4-inch mop wouldn't be able to get in around the posters. So that was all prepped first before the poster was applied. This is the new number plates, 3D carbon. So the preparation of the interior, so the whole van, as I mentioned, was cleaned out, washed out. You can see the water there. There was a lot of dirt, really bad. And then the floor lining had to be applied. So the timbers were first cut to the sheet ply, 9mm timber, Chinese ply, was cut and placed on nice and tight. And packers then were placed below the timber and between each one of these wee bumps. just so the timber didn't spring up and down when you stood on it, crack. After this, the rear wall linings was complete, or started even. This is the driver's wheel arch first. So before this was done, it was all singular panels and it didn't look right, and they were hanging off and hanging on here and there. So this bit of timber was put in to support the lining, the wall lining, and also another bit for the top to mount the screw the timber to. So it was pushed in tight and then a nice curve to give you a nice, nice big massive radius. So it's not flat walls, it's curved with the shape of the van. It's easily bent because it's 6mm, it's thin. So this is the back doors. They are steamed and they place or in the position. So the wheel arch linings, the driver's side was quite easy. Just one continuous semicircle, a moon shape sort of. This is the passenger side, there was more work on it. This was the timber was all nicked in stages, every 1 inch, so it can bend up and round this unique shape. You can see all the supports screwed to the actual wheel arch themselves and glued using grip pull. So I wanted this as tight as possible, take up less room, you know. So the carpet at this stage is already laid on the actual floor, and the carpet is glued using grip pull as well. So this is the driver's wheel arch, complete, just about. Glued with a Gorilla glue and screwed with wood chip screws. So all these door linings were also covered using the same ply, 6mm. It's not hard, like it's just I wanted it nice and neat, as you can see here. Also at this point, the sound system was put in, the cables were all run, going to the woofer and the 6x9s. So the driver's wheel arch, you can see at this stage, are just being rolled around. So these pictures are kind of muddled up, but every process I started every process at the same time, such as the walls and the floor and the sound system. So this is the actual floor covering the carpet. So the carpet was actually glued around the edges with grip pull, and grip pull was squashed into it to make sure you wouldn't be able to see the bumps when the carpet is bedded in. So making sure it was flat, because grip pull goes quite hard. So this is the driver's wheel arch covering with grip pull and applying the carpet to it. The grip pull is wonderful stuff. This is the wheel arch nearly complete. Looks nice. So the passenger wheel arch is much more difficult, much more unique shape. Not difficult, but harder to I don't know, apply the carpet on maybe. Need more glue. As it dips down and goes up, and, you know. So this is applying the top, last piece, final piece to complete the arch. Grip pull again. And this is the front part between the actual back of the van and the behind the driver's seat and the passenger seat. So there's the subwoofer cables. They used to be in the old car, so it wasn't hard putting them in. One's a high current cable for the woofer, and then amplifier. So this actual aluminium beads or aluminium angle was also put on to keep the carpet from fraying or coming apart at the edge, walking in and out of the van, standing on it. It's finished at this point. So at this stage I was covering the walls and the door with leather, trying not to lay them flat too long because the back doors would tend to flatten out again, even after being steamed. So the leatherite material was purchased from a company in England, I forget its name, fabric something. So it was applied with PVA glue, was trimmed around the edge with a sharp standing knife. That's basically it, removing all the air bubbles using the wee squeegee. Some of the edges tended to lift a wee bit, so there was, as you can see, there's things sitting on top of it. This is the back doors. They were much, they were steamed in the like dome, like sort of bevels. As you could see it on the van itself in the video clips earlier. They tended to flatten out again, so had to be quick with these and not lay them on the ground too long. So they were screwed on straight after, a day after, to make sure it didn't go flat again. So the roof rack was a simple process as well. Just using 1.5" or 40mm box, my style. I wanted to galvanise this to keep the rust from running. Let's just say it was painted. The ratchet straps would wear the paint, and the paint would run down. Or sorry, not the paint. The rust would run down over the graphics once they were applied. So that's why I galvanised it. It was tacked with a TIG on the van, so those splatters go on the paintwork, and it was welded with a MIG off the van. So it's quite big. It would hold an 8x4 sheet if need be. The time I had the car, I used to ratchet strap 8x4 sheets on the roof. So this is boring of magnetic, or with magnetic drill holes for the galvanised to run through. See if it's a bored wee holes on the actual frame itself. However, when it was galvanised, these galvanisers bored holes on it after me telling them no. So they went ahead and done it anyway. So basically I have a hole running right through there, so there's no need for the wee holes on the outside. So this is welded with the MIG welder. Then brackets, as you can see on there, are brackets that were off an old roof rack. Not, I think it was what do you call it, a Citroen, some sort of Citroen van, Citroen Berlingo van. So the brackets, the roof rack that came in the Citroen Berlingo was rusted, so I wanted to build a new one and use the brackets. Just save me making any older brackets, 4 brackets. So I weighed it here, just I think it's 16k, or 16.8 kg, not that heavy. So this is flattening the wheels for the top for the kayaks to sit on, so no sharp edges. So this is the galvanising after it came back. It was quite rough, so I had to be all fired, really rough. And sadly the company didn't care about this. I'm not going to mention the company's name, but it was bad. The whole thing had to be filed flat. Trying not to cut into my steel itself. However, there was also wee bits missing on the galvanised at the edge, but there when they set it on the ground after when it was soft. So I had to put the epoxy resin on it. So these are the holes at the board, and I filled them with epoxy because I didn't want to fill my water, because there was caps on the end of the roof rack itself on the 8 ends. This is the hole that I bored. You can see them on the inside, so the roof rack is nicely galvanised. A lot of pictures. Okay, so this is the roof rack complete after being filed, ready for the axle caps placed on it, the cap ends. These are the hinges and the roof rack pieces were off the old Citroen Berlingo roof rack, and they were powder coated, sandblasted and powder coated black. At the same time as I was doing the hinges for the back of the van. So these is just there to keep anything falling off the roof rack. Basically, they're not there to do really much because anything on the roof rack can be ratchet strapped on, but they help. So the seat brackets themselves. So I used the seats out of my old car that I had for 13 years. That was Del Sol seats. I modified them for my Civic, and I also modified them for this van. So there's a piece of the yellow Civic in this van still, so there's a bit of it running about yet. The seats was all welded up using just wee bits and bobs, cuttings of metal. So the exterior graphics I designed on Photoshop first. I was going to do it singular like this, the images, then I decided to do one big canvas like this. So I designed it on Photoshop, CS6, we all blended in together. And this is the passenger side. And this is them rolled up, ready to be sent to me. So these were applied using water, a squeegee. So the whole van was soaked and the graphics was soaked and replaced on. It's quite tricky, as I am very fussy and needs to be perfect. So, and obviously that's my name. So you will find me on YouTube by typing my name in. So this is the back left door poster. This is the van prep before I put the big piece of graphics on, or vinyl. The printed vinyl, it's flattened just using the 600 grit or 1000 grit, just to make sure no wee bumps in the lacquer or anything. Obviously I don't care about the van underneath, but it can be buffed up again if it needs to, just to make sure the posters have no wee bumps. So this is trimming the posters. All these posters were trimmed by me to suit the van, including the back panels. There, they were sticking out here, there and everywhere, and I got them. So this is the van with the posters on it, and the van's not done up at all. Still, you can see all the plastics is very faded. That's me covering the glove out. That's my spot welder, pneumatic spot welder, and everything else that's going on there. The louvers, aperture on the left, the manifold at the top, and this is the front of the van when the graphics was just applied. So the sound system itself was simple. It's just 4 speakers and a subwoofer. So there's a lot of photos here of fun making the subwoofer box. So basically the subwoofer box was bounced about in my Civic, up and down for 13 years. So I had to recover it because the MDF wood was all swollen with moist water and all, so I relined it with timber. That's 9mm, tiny ply, and then I sanded it, filled all the holes, and applied leatherite material to it too, using the PVA glue. So it's just tidying it up really, because the van was quite neat in the back. So at this stage I was rounding all the corners. The hole was cut out for the amplifier, and this was applying using PVA glue. So basically pulling the leather around the box when it was soaked with the PVA on the right hand side there. So this is the 4 sides complete, ready for the other 2 sides. So the other 2 sides is done the day after, when the glue hardened. So this is just to hold the joint, and obviously the joint is kept to the bottom of a subwoofer. So this is the exact same red leather that's applied to the whole van and the inside to the back. This is all the cables running from the stereo to the radio to the amplifier. This is cutting the holes out for the 6x9 and applying the second day the PVA glue for the 2 sides. The second day at the subwoofer box. So this is the 2 sides. I wasn't planning putting an aluminium strip around it, a 90-degree angle. I was planning just a nice neat joint, but however when I took the tape off I noticed it would be a bit gappy here and there. So I just covered it with the aluminium and mitered it all using the 4.5-inch grinder. This is me starting it here. So I ran out of the angle there. You can see we want to be a bit smaller, but you don't notice it. That's the same in this face. So this is sticking a wee piece of carpet to the bottom of the subwoofer and top of the leatherite. It's just to keep it from sliding when it's in the van, because the carpet, you know, it's got a rough surface, and the carpet it's sitting on's got a rough surface. If I had to put the leatherite material on the carpet, it slides about. However, with the 2 carpets meeting each other, it doesn't move. Just like a brake. And that's it. So the last thing to do here was the wheels. Basically I just done the front face of them. They were very pitted. Very pitted, so the red oxide was put on them and a gloss black. Just so you didn't see the very rough wheels, silver wheels behind the brand new wheel hubcaps, or the wheel caps. Thank you for watching everybody. Bye bye.